What it do, fam? You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene. I'm Wole, and I'm joined with my guy Ray GZ. Ray, are you there? You good? Are you okay?
I'm good so far. So
All right,
far, I'm
Ray's
good.
good so
We'll
far.
see.
We
We'll
got
see what happens as the show goes on. A lot going on over here. You know, technology how it is. But
technology. It's storming on this side of town, so folks still bear
it
with us,
already
man.
it already finished over here. It finished storming over here already. We're done. Hopefully we're done. You know how Upper Marlboro gets flooded. But I see you got beef with RG3, my guy. You got to chill out, man.
Oh! You know what? Actually, I can address that before we get to our guest. I just think it's weird. That's all I'm saying. I think he's very weird in terms of what he's doing. Like, I am a fan of Caitlin Clark. Like, I am a fan of Caitlin Clark. I think I don't like the comparison between her and Angel. She's a better baller than Angel. I don't do that. Like, I don't even do that. They're two different people. So I don't do that. But what he does for that, like what he's doing, his trolling is extra to me. That's all it is. It's extra. Like, you don't talk about Asia Wilson, and she the best player. She the best player for real. Why you don't talk about her?
I don't know, bro. Must be some type
That's,
of motive behind it. Did you order the Caitlin
exactly.
Clark shoes? Though them joints sold out in like an hour.
Oh no, look, she popular, and it is what it is. There's people like that in the men's game like that all the time that sell more than say the best player. We've seen that in basketball, in the NBA. Like LaMelo Ball sells like crazy. He one of the most popular dudes in terms of a genre. In terms of the young fans, he's one of the more popular
Paul
people.
said he's
Period.
corny. What's the good, Paul?
I agree, man.
We
I
gonna
agree.
we gonna get to our guests. I
Yeah,
ain't
let me
gonna
get to
hold
our
this
guest,
guy.
man. I
But
ain't doing
Caitlin is the NBA Slim. It ain't no arguing about that. She is the WNBA. I'm sorry. She
I'm
could
just
be the
saying.
NBA. The big three wanted her. That Asia
I'm
ain't getting
not
no offers to
arguing.
play
I'm
on
just
big
talking about
three.
if you talking about skill.
RG3.
He used the term generational talent. Let me put that out there. That's the term he used. That's all. I'm not saying popularity. He said generational talent. That's different. Anyway,
Okay.
man, you can check out our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. You can also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also, you can make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. Hit that red subscribe button. Also, right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit like this video. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also, join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. I forgot to mention, if you're on YouTube, we do accept super chats. We qualify for that. So if you feel like dropping us a super chat, feel free to do that. We will prioritize that message, those comments on our super chat. On our YouTube episode. So anyway, all right. Let's get into our edition of pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Ray mentioned our cool guests. We got Washington Wizards reporter Troy Haliburton. He'll join us to talk about the Wizards drafting Tre Johnson, trading away Jordan Poole to acquire CJ McCollum, and much more Wizards topics. All right, let's introduce the homie Troy right now. What is good, Troy? Hold on, what's good, Troy? There you go. That's better. What's good, Troy?
What it do to my brothers, Wole and Ray, man? How y'all living, man?
Well, we good, bro. We are good, bro. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Look, I feel like for the last couple of weeks, I've been on my that picture with Joe Dumars with the two phones in his hand.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of that over the last couple of weeks, but so I'm glad that everything done slowed down on the Wizards front right now, so we can get to some of that later. Yeah. About how slow it's been over the last couple of days.
Oh yeah, for this, but they were hot early though.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. No, the Wizards, I feel like the Wizards were kind of one of the big players in the talks leading up to the draft. Right. And, I think a lot of the conversation around the draft had to do with Ace Bailey.
Yes.
And, him kind of manipulating the draft process. And, through all of that, it really coming to the forefront that the Washington Wizards were the team that really wanted to go out and get Ace Bailey. Yes. And Danny Ainge worked them. So, that's what we can definitely break down all the ins and outs of how that happened. But I appreciate you brothers for having me on to talk some Wizards basketball.
Man, it's always good having you on. I don't know if Ray got stuck because his picture looked funny. All right, hold on. All right. Yeah, there you go. Now Ray's back. All right. So anyway, let's get right into it. You talk about this draft pick, which, I like this draft pick, to be honest with you. So last week, the Wizards with the sixth pick, the Wizards selected Tre Johnson out of Texas. First off, what's your overall thoughts on this selection?
Yeah, look, so I didn't want to spend too much time talking about what they missed out on. Let's talk about what they got.
Facts.
And what they got with Tre Johnson is the best shooter in this draft class. Mm-hmm. He went to the University of Texas last year. He averaged 20 points per game. He led the SEC not, we got to mention that the SEC had the most NCAA tournament teams in the history of the NCAA tournament. So that was a powerful conference, and he was the best scorer in that conference. And to me, I think that they drafted a player who is 6'6", who can really flat out just shoot the basketball. The guy who can shoot off a movement. He can shoot as a spot up shooter, off the dribble. I think when it comes to the last couple of years with these Wizards draft picks, I think that a lot of these picks we were worried about the shooting with we knew that they drafted some defenders and some guys who could play. We were like, how can we fix that jump shot? This guy, we don't have to worry about trying to fix his jump shot, trying to touch his jump shot. You just kind of let him come in and do his thing and try to improve him in other areas of the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's an all-around solid dude, like as a hooper. When you watch, to your point, like he can put the ball on the ground. That's the most, like usually, like when you talk about the Wizards, it's usually like they're a shooter. Maybe they got to work on their handle. Like this dude can put the ball on the ground. He can create on his own in terms of getting his shot off. He has range, deadly 3-point shooter. Like you said, the best shooter in this draft, and he's a true freshman. Like he was a real freshman. Like he's a real young boy. Like it ain't. I did it like classified and got an extra year. Like he a real young boy. Like there's so much that he hasn't even tapped into that he's going to be a better player. You know what I mean? Like you said, being the best player, arguably the best player in the SEC, with only being 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Was it like 19 years old? So
19 years old.
Yeah, like doing all that and putting all that type of work, averaging, I think he averaged 19 to 20, like 19 points a game too as well. Like this kid he's got ability. Like I had to go back because I'm not gonna act like I watched all of his games. I don't do that. Like, so what I do is I go back and I watch what you bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? What is your individual skill set and how does that match up into the NBA? And to me, what I see from him is his game translates well in the NBA more than probably any Wizards draft pick they've had over the last five years, to be real with you.
I agree with that. I think that his game will translate, especially for the rookie season, more than any draft pick they probably had since they drafted Bradley Beal. Like, and I think that when you look at like some of these betting markets, they tend to agree with you. Where I see him as being, listed as the number 2 or number 3 ranked prospect as far as rookie of the year odds. And it's been a long time since the Wizards have had, a player like that coming into the season. I think that like I said, his ability to score the basketball is something that the Wizards very much needed. And I think that, like you said, I agree with you where it's a skill that I think is translatable to the NBA.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy because I heard he was a good shooter. I was expecting to see you like, all right, he can shoot, whatever.
No, he can shoot.
He can shoot.
Yeah,
no,
he can shoot for real.
And he's 6'6". He can get his shot off. That's the thing. Like the only thing that I can see them having an issue, like him having an issue, is obviously that's age, but that's like weight, right? Like putting on some extra weight. You know what I'm saying? Being more physical. But in today's NBA, he can get away with that. So I'm like, his game really does. He can finish well with his offhand going to the basket. Like the dude really he's very versatile. To your point, Troy, I do think folks know I love Cooper Flagg's game. I think Cooper Flagg is like that. But when I'm looking at this kid play, like I'm with you. I think he could be the second best rookie this season. To be real with you, I can see it.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see it. And the thing is that I know that he's going to get opportunity. That really when you talk about like these awards and stuff, the awards go to the people who play a lot and a chance to, put up counting stats. And so if you look at what the Wizards did last year, they played their rookies, they just took the reins off and let them just go ahead and knock themselves out. And I think that Tre Johnson is going to get the same treatment for this year. If you look at how they're building this team and the probability that they're going to end up probably being one of the worst teams in the NBA again this season, I think that they want him to go out there and play, so he'll get opportunities to play and get between 10 and 15 shots a night.
Ray, you want
that's a discussion point. Go ahead. You want to read this question? Mine is similar. Go ahead though.
Yeah. So Alexander Wilson said, I think Tre was still the Wizards. Was still for the Wizards. Am I wrong?
No, you're definitely not wrong because, like I said, I think going into the drafting process, that Tre Johnson was a consensus top 5 player on most NBA teams' boards. And so for the Wizards to get a top 5 player that was on, with them having a 6th pick, on most teams' boards, that he was a top 5 guy. So for them to get, a consensus top 5 talent, I think that, in essence, that has to be a steal. So, depending on how his career shapes out, but just the value alone for them to be able to, get a player, of his caliber. I know a lot of people were very upset when they dropped from, 2 to 6 on a draft lottery night, but, they still ended up with the top 5 guy. So, that to me is a win for the Wizards.
My question, Troy, is, and I made no secret, I wanted Derek Queen. I've always said that throughout the draft process. That's what I wanted. So was Tre the best fit, or was he the best available, or both?
He was the best player, and he was a better fit. That's the thing. And so, to me, and I think I would go back to the conversations that I had about Derek Queen, going back to the conversation that I had, the last appearance I had on this show. And, I wasn't surprised at where Derek Queen went. I thought that he was, a mid to late first round draft pick. I didn't think that he was a top 10 talent. And it looks like a lot of people across the league agree with that. And shout out to Troy Weaver, who did a lot of scouting on Derek Queen. Like this is a little inside baseball. Troy Weaver's son was on the coaching staff at the University of Maryland as a grad assistant. And so Troy was in DC this past year. So he got an inside look at everything when it comes to Derek Queen. And he established that was a guy that he liked. And to me, I think that, he could have been a valuable player. But if they're going to give up a future unprotected first-round draft pick, why not just draft Derek Queen at 7? Yeah. I don't understand. If you love him that much, why not just take him at 7? That don't make any sense to me. To now you don't put this draft pick. You don't put this unprotected draft pick. Now Derek Queen got to wear this around his neck for his career. That he's going to be forever attached to them giving up this first-round draft pick. And whether he's a good player or not, that was just a dumb decision. To me, I wouldn't say dumb. I just think it wasn't prudent to value. Because if you valued him that much, why not just take him at 7? To me, I don't understand why give up this unprotected first-round draft pick in the future to go out and get a guy at 13. It's not even like they did this for, a top 5 pick or Dylan Harper or Cooper Flagg, to go up and get Derek Queen at 13. I just thought it was an incredibly bad value. But let's get over there because this is a Wizards show.
But nah, we look, bro. So we keep it a bucks, like the barbershop, bro. We keep it a buck.
No, for sure. But to me, if you, it just I've been thinking about that. If you like him that much, why not just take him at 7? It just doesn't make any sense to do all that extra stuff. And now it's like I said, Derek Queen gonna have to wear this when that pick turned out to be the number 1 pick next year and everybody laughing.
Yeah, they're gonna be
they're gonna be Derek Queen gonna be the one getting harassed on Twitter about it.
Facts.
I hope Thomas Weaver did not play a role in that. Wole, you know him from Howard. He was the smallest one on the team, bro. And I got some beef with him. Not for real, but Wole, when we was in school, and Troy, maybe you were a little younger than us, but you can remember, guys Thomas Weaver height could not play college basketball back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't play college basketball.
I understand, but that he was on the team because he's the GM's son, and so you know what I'm saying, this is what we doing here. And Thomas Weaver's a great dude. He's not a great basketball player, but now you see he done moved on. Now he played at Howard. Now he's able to have connections, and he moved on to be a grad assistant at University of Maryland. I promise you that he probably gonna be an NBA front office executive one day.
On a side note, he's supposed to be taking Tyler Thornton's spot at Howard on the coaching staff. So that's I think his next move.
Okay, well there you go. I love that.
All right, so we got another question, Mike, man. We got another comment from Cam. So Cam, you said Tre Johnson, Bub Carrington could be the next Wall and Bill.
Well, let's pump the brakes right there, Cam.
I'm waiting on that one. I wanted you to go. That's why
let's pump it, Cam. I know, you're getting really excited. John Wall was a generational talent, number 1 overall draft pick. Giving the keys to the franchise, giving the keys to the city. Let's come on now. Let's not. That might be a little bit too big of a jacket to try to throw on these young boys. Like, let's have them come in and let's work their way up. Like before we can start talking about they could be the next, all time.
Chris Whitney.
Like, what are we doing here? Chris Whitney. I love these two players.
Yeah.
But to me personally, like, I think that what we can definitely say from all the moves that the Wizards have done this offseason is that they do view Bub as a point guard.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know if I view Bub as a point guard. I don't know if other teams around the league view Bub as a point guard.
Yeah.
I hope that he's able to develop these point guard skills. But I like a lot of things about Bub's game. I think that he has a lot of character. I think I think that he will develop into a decent 3-point shooter. I like his ball handling skills. I think that he's got a good mid-range jumper. I just have not seen him be able to manipulate the NBA offenses with the pick and roll and doing these things, snake dribbling, doing these things, looking off defenders, passing off to secondary options. I just haven't seen him, that aspect of his game. And so that, like, playing point guard in the NBA is more than just dribbling the ball up the floor. Like, there are aspects to your game, that you have to add. And he's got a long way to go as far as his developing his playmaking skills to be able to competently run an NBA team.
I agree. I mean, I like Bub a lot.
And Bub could come in and have a great second year.
Yeah.
And we might find by the end of the year find out that that he's best as being a 2 guard, or maybe he's best as being that combo guard off the bench. But I think that he's going to get every opportunity to try to play the point guard position. But they'll put the ball in his hands when it's not in CJ's. But I still think like he has a learning curve there as far as him being able to play the point guard position.
So let me jump to this question then, because I'm all about when you got a talent like because I'm watching Tre Johnson, he's a talent, and I don't like talented players like that being on the bench. I ain't gonna lie to you, I hate that crap with a passion. Do you see is that how they easing him in? That you're gonna ease him off the bench because, and we'll talk about the trade, but
is he gonna be able to beat out Corey Kispert, or is he gonna be able to beat out Bub or like that's the thing? Is he gonna be able to beat out some of these guys that'll be playing in front of him?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not sure. Like maybe they want to start CJ McCollum at the 1, and then Bub.
That's what I was thinking. All right, I was thinking that too.
And so now he's coming off the bench. I think that we'll wait until training camp starts. They'll put the ball up, and then we'll be able to see how these things are going to shake out. But even before then, I was going to say I'm very interested to see how he and Bub how Tre and Bub will mesh at Summer League, which is coming up in a week. And so that'll be a big test for Bub. If Bub could come out there and run the point in Summer League, then it's like, okay, then that's a step in his growth as a player.
Yeah, because when I look at when I look at Tre Johnson, I just see a dude, I'm not gonna be redundant, that can do everything on the tree as a scorer. You know what I mean? Like at this point in time now, like obviously you want to see how you play, how you do it against NBA defenses in terms of like, can you create separation? Can you, if someone's being a little bit physical, can you still create separation and get the shot that you wanted to get off? But like from what I see, like, and especially when we're talking about when you want to get the mismatch, you do the high screen, get that mismatch, you get the ISO with his jumper, with his jump shot. He has the 1-2 step back. He got that in his game. He got that in his bag. He can create with footwork to get his shot off. You know what I'm saying? Already right now, as he is as a young dude hooping right now. So like I would just like to see him get the opportunity to get a lot of burn. Like I would like to see him getting 30, 35 minutes because he has that ability that every game he learns to get better. Like I want him to learn on the fly. Almost not as extreme, but like how Kevin Durant had to learn when he was in Seattle. Like they just threw him in the fire and say, "Hey, go get a bucket," and that made him a better basketball player.
Well, look, hey, we'll start. Let's see how he does next week at Summer League. Then we can go from there. You talking about giving him 35 minutes a night? Like
I want to, man. When you a bad team, this is my Detroit. When you a horrible team, like you talking about you a bad team. Like what is there to save? You know what I mean? Like why not get that?
He's not the only young player on this roster.
Facts,
so
that's true.
Like these things will be settled. With the playing time arguments will be settled on the court. Check ball.
We got some comments too. And shout out to Team Real. And also we got somebody else, Michael, saying that Tre should get close to 30 minutes again, even if he comes off the bench. So yeah, people feel like play him now.
Hey, I want to play him. Look, but that stuff is earned. We can't now. We getting into like this nepotism stuff. Like, oh, we just gonna give you like you got to earn that. And you like,
I'm gonna keep it a bean. You're right. You got to earn it. But if I had to if you told me if I had to look and assess who can go give me a bucket, even with the young guys they have now.
Wole, who else they got on this roster? If he could play, he's gonna play. Like I don't even know what I'll be real. This is a mute argument that we even like. If he can play, he's gonna play. Yeah, there's nobody else for who's gonna play.
Well, CJ. My thing is CJ because I want to know what your plan is with CJ because CJ.
Look, if you want to ultimately move CJ at the trade deadline, you can't move a player who ain't playing.
Fact, yeah.
Like, come on now, you
not playing.
His skills have to be showcased in order for him to be moved. Like this is, and that's the thing that when you're running a professional basketball organization, there's so many different things at play. Like you can't be like, oh, we just going to sit CJ and not playing. How you going to get any value for him?
I agree with that. No, I totally agree. He
has to play at the beginning of the season.
No, I said that. I've said this when they made the trade to CJ. That CJ's got to get burned so you can get trade value for CJ at the trade deadline. Same thing for even Marcus Smart. Like you're gonna have to these are vets to me. Like you want to win a winning organization or playoff contending team or a team that's trying to win a championship. They're gonna want those players, so that you better showcase them now and get so you can get trade value for them because it adds to another draft for draft capital. So I've said that. I've said that already. I'm just saying, like, when you got you draft a young player within that, how does he fit within that process, that ideology? How does that young player fit with that process?
Well, look, this is easy for the Wizards. They don't have a bunch of young talent on the roster, so it's like he's going to play. Like that's it's not like it's not even something that I think is even like up for discussion for anybody. Like this is just understood as to how it's going to play.
Go ahead, Ray.
Troy, yeah, well, you know what? I feel like CJ is going to be what Paul Pierce was for Brad and John back when they made that run before John got hurt. You need a veteran like CJ to come in and help change and shift the culture. If that's one thing the Wizards lack, they got the vision. They're making great moves. I love the front office structure, but the culture, the winning culture just isn't there yet. And I don't know if Keith is that guy, but I think CJ helps to lead you in that right direction. And I personally wouldn't want to see him go, but it makes sense from a basketball standpoint. But this is just me because to me, like Detroit and a lot of other young teams, OKC, when they started to show flashes, the culture of winning was starting to show in their play and how they finished games. They didn't win all the time, but then you saw the end result for a team like OKC and Detroit this past season, and the Wizards aren't there yet from a culture standpoint in my eyes.
No, I mean, the Wizards don't have a culture right now, so they're trying to build the culture. But that's another reason why you go out and you bring in a guy like CJ McCollum, who can come in and help try to and why you kept Chris Middleton, why they were happy that Chris Middleton opted into that, that $33 million, player option. So that, that they can use him as a trade chip. They don't get nothing if he opt out. So look, but they welcome him into the locker room. That was important for them last year when they exchanged him for Kyle Kuzma. They wanted a more mature person who could come into the locker room and kind of put these players on the right track as far as showing them how to be professionals.
Yes,
I'm with you. Hey, Paul got a question for you, Troy. He said, "Question: Can Trey develop into the Wizards' go-to guy as the year goes on?"
For sure, I think that there will be opportunities there for him to be able to develop into the go-to guy because they don't have a go-to guy. So if he can come out and hit shots, then at the end of the games, then Brian Keefe is going to start drawing up plays for Tre Johnson if he's the guy that's hitting shots. Because they ain't drawing up no plays for Corey Kispert, I'll tell you that. So, at the end of the day, but he's going to have to earn it over the course of the season because right now I think if the season if they start game one and they're down 2 with the game on the line, I think CJ McCollum probably gonna have the ball in the game.
Definitely he a clutch dude. He's known to be a clutch. So
and Troy,
that's the thing. I covered the Pelicans Wizards game last year with CJ dropped 50 on him.
Oh no, CJ a bucket, bro. I tell folks all that CJ a bucket, like CJ a bucket.
Y'all remember MLK Day was freezing
Oh, bro, I
outside.
remember that joint. Yeah.
The Blazers and CJ ate Brad alive. We was all there.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Hey, CJ gets buckets in
CJ.
Cowboy.
And CJ, I saw Paul had another comment in the section, but teams know what CJ could do. Yeah, they know what CJ. They want to see it again. Can he still do it for this season? They ain't looking at no tape from 3 years ago. Like they want to know, can he do it today? Because if they trade for him, they want to know, is he coming in? Is he going to be able to do this in April in the playoffs? Like that's how the NBA works. You're not trading no dude who been sitting on the bench for 2 months or a dude who hurt and can't play. That's why we couldn't get anything for Brogdon, because Brogdon wasn't available. He couldn't play. It was teams that were interested. They were like, but is he healthy? We haven't seen him. They need it. That's why Brogdon was out here fighting, trying to get back on the court that week before the trade deadline. Teams got to see it. Like, it ain't no, we just take your word for it. Oh yeah, CJ McCollum's good. Nah, I gotta see him play. I gotta see him beat somebody off the dribble, pull up for a minute. Then I could be like, oh, maybe I could trade for him.
Nah, the Bucks they ain't trying to know CJ now. They waiting it out. They gotta see it. Like Troy said, they gotta see it.
And look, the CJ is a trade deadline move. He makes $33 million. You can't just be trading $33 million contracts in the offseason. Like that ain't how that works. So the best thing I would say what the Wizards are gonna do, that after they traded away Poole, because Poole has extra years left in his deal. CJ is an expiring contract, so he has 33 expiring. Chris Middleton got $33 million expiring. Marcus Smart got $22 million expiring. You know, we didn't add it up. That's about 80. That's almost $100 million right there between three players. And so what they can do is now you just see that they can use that cap space. They can go out there. It could be a team and say, oh, we'll trade you a player that makes $50 million, but we'll give you 2 first-round draft picks to do it. And that's how they're going to try to use that cap space to take advantage of it. But at the end of the day, that cap space, it don't mean nothing if them boys can't play. So CJ and Middleton and Marcus Smart, for the sake of the future of the Wizards, they need to come out and have strong starts to this season.
I know my man Troy brings the smoke. I appreciate you, Troy.
Hey, look, you just got to keep it real as far as, you know, how the teams are looking at it, how the players are looking at it. And so, like, if you're a player like Chris Middleton or Marcus Smart, you know, yes, they've already made money, but shoot, you know, who don't like money? They probably want to get another contract.
Of course they do.
You're not gonna get no 4-year, $40 million contract if you don't come out here and show that you can play. So it's in everybody's best interest for it to play out like this.
No, I'm with you. I totally agree. So, Troy, you tell us about the Wizards' other draft picks. They 21st pick and Will Riley and Jameer Watkins in the second round. Tell me about those picks.
All right, so really, I want to look at the overall theme of what Will Dawkins is doing, and you have to look at where he came from in Oklahoma City and how they built their team. You know, just drafting all these different wing players and having them, you know, just a stable of wings. And so what he's doing is he's going out, he's prioritizing these wing position players and going out and getting guys between 6'5" and 6'8" who, you know, are able to pass, dribble, and shoot on offense and competently guard their men on defense. And so Will Riley, I think Will Riley fits into that mode because, you know, he's about 6'7", 6'8", but he's a real good creator with the ball. Like he was able to do a lot of things with the ball in his hands last year at Illinois. He didn't even start. He came off the bench for the Illini, and he still was probably like their best playmaker on their team. He's not really a great 3-point shooter right now, but he can shoot the basketball a little bit. But my thing for him, the biggest thing is his kind of playmaking ability and you know his positional versatility on the defensive end. With Jameer Watkins in the second round, he's a dog. Like he's really like a Marcus Smart clone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just in that type of that realm of player. You know, he was a 4-year college player. He played 2 years at VCU. And so, you know, they got that system where they pressing 94 feet, the mentality, you know, at all times. And he took that down to Florida State, and he had 2 good years down there. And so what I think he's going to be able to do is come in and just kind of give them another option. So they're just taking all these bites at the apple for these wing players so that 5 years from now, they can say, but we got 4 or 5 wings we got our Aaron Wiggins, we got our Lou Dort, you know what I'm saying? We got our Jalen Williams. We got our stable of wings that we can have, and now we can just build around that. So I like Will Dawkins' drafting strategy.
Yeah.
I like the type of players that he's going after, and then I like the actual talent of the guys that they're bringing in.
You think because his footwork I love his footwork, Riley. I like his footwork. I think his footwork is good with the ball in his hand off the bounce. But do you think his dribble and is quick enough to get by NBA defenders? Do you think?
I think so, because he's crafty enough, and he's got real sneaky athleticism.
Yeah.
So you saw some of the times where he beating his man off the dribble. And and the normal college tape you watching, you like, oh, good lay at the rim. He going up and dunking on people, two hands. So what I'm saying? I think that he has the skill set and the athleticism and explosiveness to have it be able to translate. And so I think that's one thing that that Will Dawkins is betting on. And I even like the fact that they identified a player and were able to move back a couple spots and pick up some more assets and still get their guy.
No, it's definitely a good draft. They had a good draft. Like, he's a young player, another young player too. Like you said, didn't start, still averaged about 12 points a game with Illinois. So I agree with you in terms of, like, I feel like the potential was there. Like, they're looking at it at the end of the day, like the potential. Like, if this dude reaches his match potential, they got something special.
Yeah, for sure. The potential is there because he's not just your average 3-and-D player.
No, he's not.
He could do things with the ball in his hand. Yeah. And so that's the thing, and they're really kind of trusting in their developmental staff and being able to get these players who already have a good foundation as far as skill set, and then be able to just expand on their games.
And they're good. Their staff is good. No, and I was just gonna say, to Troy's point, their staff is good at that. Like, I feel like they've developed their young players pretty well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because me and Wole, and we've had this discussion. Troy, it might have been you we had this discussion with. We got mixed emotions about Summer League because of different experiences in the past. Kwame Brown is the one Wole always talks about. Like, he destroyed Summer League, you know what I'm saying? And we know how his career went on. It was decent, but it wasn't what people anticipated it to be, especially where he was drafted at. But for these young players, like you said, Will Dawkins, for the most part, got exactly what he wanted. How big of an indication is Summer League going to be as to what they can become in their rookie seasons?
To me, I think Summer League it's a totally different game than the NBA. Yeah. So it's really hard to judge, how people play in Summer League versus what they do in the NBA. Like, it's a totally different brand of basketball. Like, it's so guard oriented, so that it's really hard for a big man, as we saw last year with Alex Sarr. If you don't got no point guard to be able to get you the ball, then you got the potential of looking crazy out there. And so, to me, I think that one thing that an NBA executive told me a few years back was that sometimes they use Summer League to judge who can't play, not who can play.
I can see that.
Yeah, so it's not like you could go out there and kill in Summer League, but that don't mean you're gonna kill in the league.
Yeah. Omar, you're 7.
Yeah, but if you come out there and you looking crazy in Summer League, that a lot of times, depending on what happened, that could be more of an indicator of, some bad things to come. But like I said, if you a guard and you struggle in Summer League, you looking crazy, like, I think that's probably you that's a bad sign.
It's a very bad sign.
Big man and you struggling with Summer League, we got to look at who was getting you the ball, because sometimes during Summer League, man, they be struggling to do entry passes, like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be like basic stuff. Like, have y'all ever done a bounce pass before? Like, and so those type of things you don't have happen in the actual NBA. And so, I think that the Summer League, I love the way that, it's branded and marketed by the league. And really, it's also another place where a lot of league business gets done, because you have all 30 NBA teams out there. You got all representatives from teams. So there's the coaching staffs from the teams. You got the players. You got player agents. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's out there conducting business and doing different things. So, like, I think that Summer League has a lot of great value, but I wouldn't be attributing too much to, what happens in Summer League, either negative or positive, as far as pertains to a player's future in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Summer League is like, it's hit or miss. Some folks like guard. It's definitely guard friendly. Because I do like your point with that executive told you, because it is true. Because you could tell somebody trying to do too much, in summer league, that's a sign that tells you that, you know what, you may not be ready for the league. You're just trying rather than just letting your game flow organically.
Yeah, I think really a lot of the NBA right now is about people sliding into roles, and people get upset when they say, "Oh, he's a role," but some people's roles are bigger than others. Like you know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying, like Trey Murphy's role isn't the same as Justin Champagne's. Like like they could both be considered role players, but their roles are different. Like Desmond Bain, his role is not. You know what I'm saying? Like Corey Kispers. These are
Corey catching strays like a bug out there, Joe. It's true though. It's the truth.
But and so with Summer League, you got to see people who are willing to fit into different roles, or can they adjust to different roles? So you might start saying somebody like, "Oh, you can't fit in this role." Like, well, if you can't do that here, then it's like I don't know what you think you're gonna be doing in the NBA, but like you better get some rebounds. Like,
well, see, Troy, to your point, that's what's sad. When you think about the real hardcore Wizards fan, like Cam Mingo, for example, the Wizards have been irrelevant in summer league, and that's bad. Usually, if you have a nice young group of talent, you look good in summer league at the very least. The Wizards aren't even in the discussion in summer league, bro, and that bothers me as a basketball fan.
I think this is the year that you'll see. So like that's why I said I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bub can do. I want to see. I'm very curious to see how many games Bub is going to play. Will Dawkins kind of already tipped his hand to let people know that Bub was going to go out there for summer league. So that's great. And I'm curious to see what he's going to do, because that's another thing. So if you are a player who if you played 25, 30 minutes a night in the NBA, you're supposed to come out here and kill in summer league. Yes. So I need Bub coming out here. I need 25 a night, 10 assists. Like I need him to really kind of turn it up. And so if the Wizards want to be competing, that we had 3 great rookies last year. I don't know how much Sarr's going to play in summer league, because
I was going to ask you that too.
He's going to be on the French team for Eurobasket this summer, and Bilal is going to be on that French. So they're going to get playing time this summer, playing for the French national team. So I don't know how much wear and tear they want on Sarr playing summer league games, but Bub, like I personally would want Bub to play the entire summer league. I want him to go out there and play and try to will the Wizards to the playoffs in the summer league. Try to go out there and will make the all summer league team. Like that's how I would judge Bub as what he's ready to do for this season. I don't want to see Bub come out here and give me 15 a game. Do what you did last summer league. I need 25. I need 30. I need you to come out dominating.
That's what you're supposed to do, though. That's the role.
Especially if you played 30 minutes a night in the NBA. I mean, you're automatically better than all these dudes coming in.
Yeah, and if you're a second-year player trying to find your way, like to be you're trying to take your game to the next level, you're supposed to. I don't think unless you're like rookie of the year or first team or second team, and even second team dudes play in summer league. But you're supposed to be playing something. And to your point, Troy, you're supposed to dominate when you're doing it. Josh Hart, a few years back with the Lakers, he played
looking back, that Lakers summer league team was unfair. They had
exactly.
Lonzo Ball,
they won the chip. They won the
chip. Brandon Ingram, like that was.
But they played
summer league team of
all summer league. So Ingram played. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, because you have to learn to be like, because you got to teach dominance. Like you're trying to teach.
Caruso was out there. Like they like that. I don't think you ever going to see a summer league. I don't think you ever going to see a summer league team that good again.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Boy, I'll give you a better example. I don't know if you covered the inaugural Capital City Go-Go game. They played Greensboro. Devontae Graham played for Greensboro, and he murdered the Capital City Go-Go. Like, I'm on another level, and he's had NBA contracts ever since. He never went back to the G League.
Yeah,
ever.
That's it.
That's what you want to see.
That's what I want to see right there. Like, I need him to go back to Will Dawkins and be like, I'm offended that you sent me out there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but you got to prove that on the court though. So I need to see it.
All right, so let's go. We talked about the trade a little bit, but Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the 40th overall pick in the NBA draft, which was used to select Micah Peavy of Georgetown to the they got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for veteran guard. We talked about CJ McCollum and also center Kelly Olynyk and a future second round pick. What were your thoughts Kelly Olynyk I stayed down when I saw that trade when he was included. But what were your thoughts when you heard the news last week about the trade?
I mean, I knew automatically that I knew because I know the contracts. I knew that they just salary dumped Jordan Poole. But my thing is, I think I definitely said this on the last time I was on this show when we were talking about Jordan Poole. Is Jordan Poole in the future plans for the Wizards?
We said this too. We both the same thing.
Okay, it's like so to me, and I know that the Wizards fans are out here. Wizards fans have a much higher, I don't know, the way they view the Wizards players. So like they thought Jordan Poole was gonna get 2 first-round draft picks, and that was ludicrous. Like it's like, and especially after Desmond Bane got traded for 4 picks, and people are like, well, he at least half as good as. But I'm like, no, he's probably not. Like, and at the end of the day, like Poole, like he came here. I don't know. He really showed his level as to where he is in his pecking order in the NBA.
Exactly. And
to me, that value was 6th man coming off the bench. Like he showed he couldn't be a starter for a winning basketball team. I like the way that he played. For his second season with the Wizards. Yeah. But ultimately, like he wasn't a player that that they were banking on building around for the future. So they didn't lose anything by trading him, and they opened up. They gave the team so much more flexibility, and they could do so much more stuff right now with all those expiring contracts than they could with Jordan Poole, with having to pay him another $60 million. Like that, it just didn't make any sense to me.
Totally agree with you. I have a comment from Team Royal, says Troy Bullets PR here. Dawkins has a plan at center. This free agent trade. Does he have a plan for at center for this free agent trade or trade season, or just settling with Sarr, Holmes, or Olynyk?
Yeah, I don't think that there's really. That's tough from what I've been hearing. There's no movement at all on the Wizards free agent front. Like they just. The most that they could probably do is go out and sign a minimum center. I know that that Rashawn Holmes thing is complicated because he has like a little bit of money guaranteed in his deal, and ultimately I just don't see them. Like I'm pretty sure they tried to make phone calls to Clint Capella, and they would have loved to get him on that 3 years, $21 million deal. Like that was perfect at $7 million a year. But the Wizards just aren't in a position to be an attractive destination for centers at this point. And so it's not for a lack of trying that they won't be able to get a center. But at this point in free agency, I can't see them going out and spending, the mid-level exception on a center. Like I don't think that there are any the mid-level exception is like what, $12 to $14 million. I can't see them doing that again this season. Yeah. So I think if we're looking at the center position for the Wizards, I think you better get used to a lot of Kelly Olynyk minutes next year. Cool. It will be my just best guess because there just really isn't anything going on for the Wizards as far as the free agent market is concerned. They're not in the business of trying to give anybody any long-term money. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of many people who are trying to sign him for 1 year, to just kind of lose. So they're in a tough spot with that. I think the most that they could possibly do is that there are a few teams who were interested in Malcolm Brogdon, and they did maintain his bird rights. So conceivably, they could facilitate a sign and trade with Brogdon to a team and get back a cheap contract that they could cut and waive, or get back future draft compensation, maybe a 2nd round pick or something. But look, there was another trade that went under the radar that I don't want you to kind of skip over here.
I was about to. You go ahead for
it. Saturday, because I really like this player. They traded. They brought in Dylan Jones from the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, you like? Oh yeah, athletic.
So it's like look, that trade snuck in at like midnight or like 10 p.m. Saturday.
Yeah.
And so basically what that trade, Dylan Jones was picked 26th. He was actually picked by the Wizards and his rights were traded to Oklahoma City last year. But he was a 1st round draft pick of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And he played like 50 games this year. and they literally had to waive. They had to trade him or waive him because they don't have enough roster spots.
They don't. They got too
And
many.
so they called up their good buddy Will Dawkins and said, "Hey, we got this player. Do you want him for free?" And the Wizards essentially got another. So they got another first-round draft pick from last year's draft class, which now gives them 5 first-round draft picks from last year's draft class on this roster. But Dylan Jones is a guy who I think has a lot of potential. He's a shooter, and so like he isn't as big as some of these other guys. I think he's about like 6'4", 6'5", and he went to Weber State. But this is a guy who can shoot the basketball, and he will be on the Wizards Summer League roster. And this is another guy that they're going to have an opportunity to look at, who had first round talent. He NBA champion. He played 50 games last year. Like, so it's not like what I'm saying. He was just over there like getting people water for the Thunder. Like he played 50 games last year for a team that won the championship. And so I think he's a great guy who's a flyer who I would be expecting him to. Yeah, you talk about how the Wizards, you want to see them win in Summer League. He killed last year for OKC in Summer League. So if he could come back and do the same thing for us, like I think that he's a sneaky piece that really kind of adds to how the Wizards are moving around the fringes for the offseason. They didn't make any big moves, but they moved a lot around the fringes, and I think they got better.
Real quick, and I think Taj and Paul were talking about this in the chat. Troy, I know we just talked about center, and you just talked about another move that the team made. Considering the state of the Eastern Conference right now, does this roster really need to be that good in order to compete? Because the East is kind of a mess if you think about it.
Well, I mean, honestly, you got to you probably asking the wrong questions right now, Ray. Because like, are they going to be that bad to keep that? Yeah, because.
I love Troy, man.
Yeah, because honestly, like that's the most important question for the Wizards going into next season. Will they keep their first-round draft pick?
Yeah, I'll say this. I think that the Wizards. That's tough, man. Like I think the Wizards are in a situation where it behooves them not to be great. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you want to trade those players, man. Like I feel like them vets, man. Like you want to trade them vets. Them vets you got, and you want to make sure you're a seller. You know what I'm saying?
They want to make sure they're sellers at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
they want to make sure that they keep their books clean.
Yeah.
They want to make sure they're developing their young players, and they want to make sure they keep that draft pick.
I agree.
You just laid out the goals for it. That's what I have not personally seen their whiteboards in their office, but I promise you that's what it looked like.
It looked just like that. I bet you look just like that.
Just like that.
Trust the process.
How many more assets can we get? Can we keep developing our young players? And are we keeping this draft pick? Those are the important questions that the Wizards are addressing right now. And before you ask any questions about what you think they should do or what, answer those 3 questions first, and see if it applies if it falls under that.
Hey, my man Michael he got questions all about trades. Everybody wants to trade. They want Rui back. He said, "You think Dalton Connect and Rui for Kisper and Holmes is a realistic trade?"
No, I do not think so. I do not think so. No.
And why would you want?
I just don't think anybody's trading for Rashawn Holmes when they know that he's probably going to be on the buyout market eventually at some point. Like I think that he has like a really small guarantee. So he's got like almost like $200,000 guaranteed on a $12 million deal. So it's like nobody's going to trade, or maybe somebody could trade him to waive him, but I just don't see that really happening at this point.
I like this. This is going to be an exciting 20-win team next season. Dan.
Yeah, Danilo, I agree. And I think that when you're playing guys as young as they have, I think now they're going to have 10 guys under the age of 25 on the roster. Mm-hmm. Like that's fun right there.
That is.
And to me, as long as the young guys are out there playing and getting better, that's important to me. Like I couldn't watch no team with,
Jordan Poole. Go ahead, say it.
Hey, look, I wasn't even gonna say Jordan.
I'll do it for you because I used to hate it.
Hey, there you go. But with guys like that who aren't in the team's future plans, going out there just jacking up shots, that don't really make too much sense to me.
There you go, buddy. There you go. That's all you got to say.
And also, especially when you think about the fact that the dude had no trade value.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not even. And the thing is, it's like Jordan Poole. It's like okay, he could come out there and do the same thing he did last season, and team still ain't giving up any assets to get Jordan Poole. So sometimes you just got to cut your losses. Like,
you know why? Because you can't win with a player like that. That's all.
Exactly. And shout out to look. We keep doing the connect the dots of Troy Weaver, who running Orleans now. Look, Troy. Look, I saw it. Look, he drafted Sadiq Bey in Detroit.
Yeah.
Then he was with the Wizards. Say, yeah, we should sign Sadiq Bey.
Yeah.
Then he go to New Orleans. He like, yeah, let me trade for Sadiq Bey. Like, yeah, and Troy Weaver is very consistent with what I'm saying, what it is that he does and who it is that he likes. And so, Troy knew that, like if he saw what Jordan Poole did, and he's like, yo, I know the Wizards trying. I know they don't want him.
I know they don't want him.
I know they don't want him. So I know we could get him. And they basically got him for an expiring contract.
It's wild.
For nothing. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Poole was salary dumped. And I know that's a harsh reality for Wizards fans to kind of comprehend and understand because they thought they were gonna get 2 first-round draft picks for him, but that was never going to happen. And it's saying giving them flexibility I think is the most important thing because now they can do so much, man, as far as trying to manipulate what other teams are doing. And now all you gotta do is look at who's gonna be the next second apron team that's got a shared salary so they can save $100 million. Like, and once you identify that team, you tell them, "Oh, I got $100 million of cap space. Like, let's make something happen."
No, I'm with you. That's why I feel like I'm about to do my victory lap. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like doing it on somebody's whole parade or whatever. But I told folks about Jordan Poole. I was like, I don't know why y'all kind of gassing this whole situation up. Like, oh, he could be worth the first round pick. Like, no, he's not. Are you watching the same ball I'm watching?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, to me, I think that people who were watching and thinking that Jordan Poole would got treated for a first, but don't understand the importance of efficiency.
There you go.
And also it's something. Shout out to Kevin Durant and LeBron James. There, I was watching their Mind the Game podcast, and they were talking about the downplay of the small guard
I heard
in the
about
NBA.
That. Yeah,
and it's like when you got guards like that who can't defend, they picking on you in the pick and roll. They calling you up in the pick and roll every single time.
Every time.
So now Jordan Poole on the court. The Wizards, if they run it in the game situations, the other team is calling Jordan Poole up in the pick and roll every single time so that they can take advantage of him. It's like it's not really conducive to winning basketball, and it's not developing young players. So I just didn't understand what his role here was.
And he's not efficient enough for it not to be an issue. He's not efficient enough as an offensive scorer. Like that's the thing. You are efficient. Like for instance, people do that with Dame Lillard, right? They make sure they use him on the screen.
But Damian Lillard shoots 40% from three.
There you go. That's the point. Exactly. He's the efficiency. He's still gonna make you pay on the other end. Like you can keep trying to do that, but he's gonna make you pay on the other end big time. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Like Jordan Poole ain't efficient enough to make you pay. And his brand of basketball, I don't care what you watch folks, y'all watch basketball. You can't tell me that style of basketball is conducive to winning basketball games. I'm sorry.
I'm glad that we don't have to root for him anymore. So, but shout out to him and what he was able to do during his tenure here. He gave a little bit of excitement for the crowd for a couple games.
Splash party or what pool
party. I hate that. The and one style of play, and then remember he's shooting and he turned around and he missed. Like he would piss you off sometimes.
At least I would look to his credit. He cut a lot of that stuff out for the second half of his tenure here. But I wish him well in New Orleans. I hope he goes out there and kills and tries to at least make Troy Weaver look like a smart basketball executive.
I mean, yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know.
He is.
Troy's like that, but I don't know about Jordan Poole. I think Sadiq Bey was a good. I think picking up Sadiq was good though, because you get Sadiq healthy, so that's good. That's
for sure. Look, and shout out to the Wizards though. They gave him a contract last year when he was coming off a torn ACL.
Yep.
And they were able to literally rehab him and his value.
Yep.
So
facts.
That's shout out to him.
Yeah. Hey man, Troy, it's been dope having you on, man. As always, bro. Before we let you go, man, let our viewers know how they can catch you on social and catch all of your great content, my man.
Yeah, man, they can catch me on social media on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X, at Troy Haliburton. You can always find me on the same thing on Instagram, and then I got a new show on the radio airwaves over on ESPN 630 DC, coming on 10 a.m. every Saturday. The Capitol Hoop Caucus. The podcast is really taking off right now. But it's good to still be on terrestrial radio. So, if you're in your cars in the morning on Saturday mornings, go ahead and check your boy out.
I mean, y'all hear it right here, man. Troy is like one of the more.
And you can go to the website and find all of it.
Yeah, exactly. They got a decent little lineup over there. They got
they got you, bro.
Andy Poland from 9 to 11.
We know who they got.
Bram Weinstein, Clinton.
They got you, though. They got you, bro.
They
got you.
Yeah,
they got you, bro.
That's the thing. They got me. Yeah. I forgot. I got the wrestling heads on. So yeah. We got to get my promo up.
Yeah, get the promo.
It doesn't matter who else they got.
Exactly.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. There we go. But thank you to my brothers, man. Look, hey, Ray, hey, you just hit me with a nice little Howard basketball scoop. I gotta make some texts and calls after this. Look.
Hey, Troy, you don't.
I appreciate. Salute to you. Look, sources everywhere.
Troy don't help the stigma. I got the Howard stigma. I got a DM from Paul like, hey, you gonna be at Howard homecoming? Why would I be, Paul? I didn't go to Howard, man.
Exactly.
You seem like you went to Howard.
Be there sometimes.
Hey, I didn't go to Howard either, but hey, look, you can catch me at a Howard. Look, dollar is your boy. Look, $1,000. Look, I'm in it. I'm in there. Look,
hey, anyway, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, pulling up. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports. For ages.
All right, salute to y'all boys, man. Until next time, man.
Yo.